In the United States, there is now a 7-city block area that is the Wild Wild West because there is no police presence. If I owned a business in this area, or I owned a house in this area, I would fucking sell it and get the fuck out of Dodge. All right, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. All right, the left, now they want to get rid of the First Amendment because historically people have used the First Amendment to interject a lot of logic and reason into the craziness that was going on in the society, culture, and with the government. Some of the tactics that have been used, I'm not even go through all of them, but I'm just going to go over the major ones right here. They basically are saying, like, if you don't agree with them and they get angry, what you're using is hate speech. Now, technically, hate speech is calling for direct violence, not hurting people's feelings. Okay, now the way I live my life is simply this. Your feelings are absolutely no concern of mine. And if you are so weak as to allow me to get into your brain pan and flip switches to piss you off, that's your problem, that's your weakness, and you need to work it out. And then you have the whole feminism angle where they use a lot of blame and shame to shut you up. And my favorite one is this. When you pull out facts and figures and reason and they have nothing to fight back with, they look at you and go, someone hurt you. What the fuck does that have to do with logic and reason? Nothing. All right, now the second one here is they want the total disarmament of the entire United States. At the same time, they want to do away with the cops, so we'll get to that. So without the First and Second Amendment, you have nothing. Okay, Seattle surrendered one of their precincts. I think this was 2 days ago. So Seattle and the state of Washington basically lost control over 7 city blocks. All right, let that sink in. Number 5, the Minneapolis police are now on the chopping block for complete, basically just disband them. That's the word I'm looking for. Gotten rid of. That's the whole city. That if that happens, you're going to have a whole city being lost to the protesters. Again, capitalism works. Why the fuck would anyone want to invest and take time, effort to, build something inside that city when there is no law enforcement to protect your investment? All right, number 8, and this one is, incredibly distasteful to me, is the Democrats are actually getting on their knees and kneeling to the left. I don't know about you, but I would never vote for anyone who got on their knees in front of anyone else. The only one I get on my knees for is God. The Democrats and the left are pushing this whole mail-in ballot bullshit, all right? And at the same time, the Democrats are implicated in massive voter fraud. I wonder why they're pushing that. Also, they're pushing this whole mail-in ballot thing because of the COVID-19. But now it's okay to ignore all of the social distancing and the protections if you're protesting. So if you could do that, why the fuck can't you go vote?
A guy in a pillowcase, a clinging nymphomaniac, 2 bored chicks suffering the backdoor blues.
You ever been fucked in the ass?
What?
And a hitman trapped in the middle without a clue. From the makers of The Project and Red Days comes the second to last worst day of my life. Watch it now on Amazon for only 99 cents.
We are not little Japanese boobs. We are big American titties.
The Democrats basically perpetrated a coup against the president since the beginning. It's been one thing after another, all of which were proven to be baseless the top law enforcement officials and the top law enforcement agencies are turning a blind eye away from it. That needs to be fixed right there. Because if you have two standards at the top, then why can't you have two standards at the bottom? You can't have that. Sorry. The Democrat media is calling the violence protests. We have the right to protest. Hold signs, march around, do what you gotta do. But when you start breaking windows and stealing shit and throwing firebombs and killing people and beating people half to death, I'm sorry, it's no longer a protest. It's a violent riot. All right, 18. Big tech is running interference for the left and Antifa. The big tech we have are huge monopolies that need to be broken up because they have way too much influence over the thinking of the sheeple out there with their propaganda. Now, I know a lot of people get offended when I say that because they think that it's, they're beyond such things. But in reality, most of the people out there are weak-minded idiots. They're being piped in information, behind 5 fences of safety, and they're thinking what people want them to think, not how it really is. The media is pushing this whole white power or neo-Nazis and so forth are behind all of this mayhem. That is absolute bullshit. In fact, in all of my time in the military and at these security briefings, they went over, national threats to the country, so forth. Not one time did I ever see KKK or white power or anything of its ilk in the top 150. Last but not least, do we or do we not find it absolutely amazing or suspicious that we've been having one crisis after another? And it turns out most of them, in my opinion, were created out of bullshit.